How does Davey Allison spell relief? H-I-L-L-I-N. It was a typical Talladega finish in the Grand National debut. And the ace is flying high in Top Fuel. That's all next on Race Day. Good morning, everybody. I'm Pat Patterson. Thanks for joining us. There is one thing you can always take to the bank when it comes to racing at Talladega, Alabama in July, and that is that it will be hot and humid. The drivers will take the green in a little over an hour in NASCAR's biggest track. And here's a look at Friday's qualifying with Mark Allen.
Talk about contrasts. Davey Allison's Grand National driver, Red Farmer, somewhere in his 60s, and Winston Cup reliever Bobby Hillin, 20-something. The focus was more on the latter as he shook down and qualified the Haviland T-Bird. And a respectable job the Texas native did. With all that Robert Yates power under the hood, Hillin hustled to a 190.2 mile-per-hour best that was good enough for third. The Hendrick Racing engine department put a good motor in front of Ricky Rudd, and the time driver turned in a front-row effort of 190.3 miles per hour. But he'll sit next to Sterling Marlin, who for the fourth time in the last 5 restrictor plate races put his Maxwell House Coffee Ford on the pole at 190.5. From a sentimental standpoint, Richard Petty and Hillin were the pole favorites. And based on Daytona, the STP driver had high hopes. Still, 4th place isn't bad as the King goes after only his 2nd Talladega Diehard 500 win. Neither Harry Gant, Rusty Wallace, nor Dale Earnhardt had good qualifying sessions and will start well back. This is Mark Allen reporting for Race Day.
So for today's Diehard 500, Sterling Marlin is on the pole for the 4th time this year, and he leads that category. Ricky Rudd's outside pole position is the 4th front row appearance in his Tide Chevy. On the 2nd row is technically Davey Allison because he'll start the Haviland Ford before yielding to Hillin. And 4th is the King, Richard Petty, who may have his best chance for the rest of the season for that one final win. Brett Bodine starts 5th in his Quaker State Ford and is still looking for that first elusive win. 6th is Kyle Petty, who's also been shut out so far in 92 and feels like Talladega owes him one after a bad crash last year. 7th, of course, will be Mays Talladega pole sitter Ernie Irvin in his Kodak Chevy. 8th belongs to Dale Jarrett, who should be a factor today based on a strong Daytona run. And on the 5th row are Michael Waltrip, who would love to give his Pontiac and his team their first win of the season. And alongside him will be Morgan Shepherd, giving Ford the most cars in the top 10. Now, the last time the series raced at Talladega, Allison was in the front row. Today, he'll be a spectator when the race ends. As you know, the Haviland driver will be stepping aside for Bobby Hillin once he gets credit for running a lap. But Allison has really put his medical insurance to good use this season. Back in April, he suffered neck and rib and back injuries at Bristol, then got beat up at Martinsville. The following month at the Winston, his tangle with Kyle Petty left him with a mild concussion and a bruised lung and leg bruises. And then, of course, last Sunday, he sustained a broken right collarbone, forearm, and wrist, as well as black eyes. Davey has undergone 2 operations since the wreck to repair the damage, including a bone graft in his wrist, and he is sporting a specifically designed cast that will permit him to at least start the car this afternoon, and we wish Davey a quick and complete recovery. Now, he was fitted with a special cast on Friday and then took 12 practice laps yesterday and then managed to meet with the media and managed to smile about last week's wreck.
Well, the last thing I remember prior to climbing out of the car was seeing Kyle Petty upside down and thinking one of us is not going the right direction. And it sounded like mine.
Now, Davey's looked better, and he recognizes that even though he starts 3rd, trying to lead the event is not a good idea.
I don't want to put any kind of unnecessary discomfort in anybody else's mind that they think I'm out competing against them, some of the other drivers, and not up to full capacity and something that I don't need to be doing. So it's in my best judgment, and everyone else's too, I think, that I should go to the tail end of the line.
Allison's fill-in driver, Bobby Hillin, has fond memories of Talladega, and a bit earlier this morning I talked with the 1986 Diehard 500 winner in our Rain-X Sky Shot, and I asked him about stepping into one of the best rides in all of motorsports.
Well, I think so, Pat. You know, I don't like the circumstances that we're here, but definitely I'm excited to be in the 28 Hillin Thunderbird. The team's really doing good, and we've had a good week so far. And Davey got in the car yesterday and ran some laps, and he feels good. And everything so far is great, and we just love to get him back up in the lead in the points.
How realistic is it, Bobby, that you can get in and out on the driver change and not lose 2 laps? Is it possible to do that?
Well, it just all depends on when exactly we change, and right now no one knows, not even myself or Davey. And you know, until we decide when to change, maybe it's under caution. Hopefully it'll be an early caution and we can change, but right now it's still up in the air. If we have to change under green, we'll just have to work hard and make those laps up. The car is capable of doing it. We've been running here, and we can run with anybody and faster than most everybody, so we're really looking forward to it.
Well, you did a great job qualifying the car. I know Robert Yates and the team was happy with that. Were you happy with the qualifying lap, you know, coming in the 3rd spot?
Well, I'm glad to be 3rd. It's the best qualifying of my career, but at the same time, I was disappointed we didn't get the pole. I wanted to get it so bad, and I knew it was a really good chance to get it. We were less than a 10th off the pole, and you know, it was mixed emotions, but definitely I'm happy to be starting up front, and even though we're not going to be starting the car, it was good to qualify there.
If you have to have a philosophy as far as how you take the car from the rear back to the front again, because obviously that's what's going to happen when you do the driver change, is there a philosophy for that?
Well, basically you just have to do it one car at a time, and biggest thing is remember that it's a 500-mile race, and we don't have to gain all our position back in one big swoop. You know, we can get it one step at a time and not put ourselves in a compromising position, because you know the car's good and the pit crew's good, and it's just a matter of taking it one step at a time and getting back up to the front.
And my money says he'll drive more than just 2 laps. And if the driver change can be made without losing a lap, it's entirely possible the Hillin Ford could wind up in victory lane. Now, coming up next, Darrell Waltrip loses his right-hand man, but first, here's the rest of today's starting grid for the Diehard 500. Stay with us.
The word is out. It's Gum Out. Today, car owners are learning to improve engine performance. It takes Gum Out fuel system cleaners. Gum Out's tough ingredients help eliminate hard starts, hesitations, and stalls. And there's Pennzoil quality in every product, which is why so many people know they can trust Gum Out. To improve engine performance, it takes Gum Out fuel system cleaners. Gum Out, solutions to engine problems from the people at Pennzoil.
She's an 83 with over 140,000 on-road and off-road miles. I must be in and out of it 150 times a day. It's a wonder the doors don't fall off. Only trouble was when the pig charge caved in my door. I only use AC Delco. Cheaper parts can cost you a powerful lot. Of course, so can pigs.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
The intelligent engineering that powered this Oldsmobile to a world record 257 miles per hour now moves a new Oldsmobile to over 30 highway miles per gallon. Introducing Achieva by Oldsmobile. Never has so much thought gone into this much fun. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Whether trolling the backwater or casting in peaceful still waters, when Bill's in search of big fish, he knows how to hook prize keepers. Follow Bill Dance to the best fishing holes in the South on his quest for the ones that won't get away. Brought to you in part by Walmart. Bill Dance Outdoors, 12:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. Eastern on TNN Sports Sunday.
Race Day is brought to you by Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota car and truck you buy.
Welcome back, everybody. For 11 years, Darrell, Waltrip, and crew chief Jeff Hammond were all but inseparable, but last Tuesday, that association came to an end when Hammond resigned to become the team manager for the new Winston Cup program being started for Kenny Wallace.
Well, what we were looking at was an opportunity for me, probably for the first time in my career, to work with somebody that's not a veteran driver. Really a chance for me to see if all the years and all the experience that has been packed into me through Junior Johnson and Darrell Waltrip, Rick Hendrick, and all the great people I've been associated with, if I can maybe take some of that and give it back to somebody who is wanting to come into the big leagues.
The Waltrip-Hammond pairing produced 43 victories and 2 Winston Cup championships. Jeff left just 2 days after Darrell drove to victory in Pocono. Veteran Jake Elder is serving as Waltrip's interim crew chief. Now, meanwhile, the great driver search continues for Richard Petty. The King has been courting Ted Musgrave, but the second-year driver announced Friday that he'll stay put with Radius Racing. The former ASA driver has 2 top 10 finishes in the last 3 races. Some reports now have Tommy Kendall as the leading candidate for the STP ride. Now, last August, J.D. McDuffie lost his life during a crash at Watkins Glen Winston Cup race. It has just come to light that McDuffie's widow has filed a $4.25 million lawsuit against the track and NASCAR. The suit alleges that the Turn 5 area where McDuffie was killed was dangerous and the direct cause of his death. No trial date has been set for the suit filed in U.S. District Court in New York City. All right, back to Talladega, where yesterday the Busch Grand National Series bowed for the first time on a race scene here on TNN.
An all Winston Cup front row, and rightly so, since the Busch Grand National regulars were making their first ever appearance at the 2.6-mile Talladega Superspeedway. In the opening laps, the Winston Cup invaders took command of the show with pole sitter Dale Earnhardt, Ernie Irvin, Hut Strickland, and Ken Schrader all taking a turn up front before 15 circuits were complete. With no cautions in the early going, green flag pit stops became the order of business for most of the 36-car field. But then on lap 47, the first caution did fly for debris on the track. On the restart, series points leader Joe Nemechek got a little help from Todd Bodine and collected rookie points leader Ricky Craven in this long slide. No serious damage was done and all safely continued. When the green flag did fly for more than a lap, battles broke out all over the track, including this 3-way war that almost turned into trouble. But fortunately, everyone kept their noses aimed in the right direction. In the latter stages, the senior circuit veterans continued to dominate with Michael Waltrip out front. Then on lap 90, Kenny Wallace had his day cut short due to a burned clutch after a minor pit road incident with Tom Peck. Just 10 laps later, and Stanley Smith was lucky no one was close behind him as he lost control of his black number 45. He pitted for tires and never lost a lap. After Red Farmer's lap 111 crash, the stage was set for a wild 3-circuit shootout with Irvin gaining the advantage in his Kodak Chevrolet and holding off a 4-wide rally to the checkers. Michael Waltrip was second in a photo finish over Todd Bodine, the best finishing Busch Series regular. Fourth went to Dale Earnhardt, and rounding out the top 5 was Hut Strickland.
And oh, what a finish it was, but here's the Busch Grand National points. Joe Nemechek still leads it. Bobby Labonte is second. Kenny Wallace is third. Robert Presley dropped to 4th, and Todd Bodine rounds out the top 5. Now, in this week's Toyota IMSA report, the focus is on today's race that is in Portland, and the Camel GT points leader, Juan Fangio, the second, and Davey Jones. In qualifying yesterday, Fangio put his Toyota on the pole with a lap of 116.3 miles per hour. Fangio is out to become the first driver to win 4 straight events. And his recent surge has helped the Toyota to take over the manufacturer's point lead. Sharing the front row is teammate P.J. Jones, who's coming off his best effort yet at Laguna Seca. Now, third is Davey Jones, who has seen an apparently comfortable points lead evaporate under the Fangio onslaught. Next to him will be Allison Jr., who's making his 14th Camel GT start. And on row number 3 are Chip Robinson, who hasn't been getting much seat time as the season because of a Nissan car shortage. And then there's David Tennyson, who has driven his Chevy Spice to 5th in the driver's standings. Coming up next, we'll head to the Mile High Country for NHRA qualifying, but as we head to break, here's the rest of today's G.I. Joe's starting grid.
So, how do you spend your weekend? Mowing the grass? Watching the games on TV? Or maybe something a little less ambitious? We spend hours at the racetrack testing new innovations, developing new technology to make the Toyota you buy perform as well as it possibly can. After all, we wouldn't want you to lose any sleep over it.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
Aqua Rush, salty spray, power thrust, tendency, Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be.
Introducing the hottest two-seater watercraft on the water, the Kawasaki Jet Ski Super Sport. With a sleek V hull and a powerful 750 engine, the Super Sport is where you wanna be.
Kawasaki, let the good times roll. Kawasaki.
The roar of the burn, the thunder in the pipes, the power of perfection, unleashing its awesome energy in a year of rocketing record breakers and forceful fireballs. New names and new machines are setting the stage for the next generation. So buckle up. TNN Motorsports is taking you for a ride. Live from Denver, final rounds of the Mopar Parts Mile High Nationals tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on TNN Motorsports. Next Sunday, live on TNN Motorsports. It's the 25th anniversary of the ASA AC Delco Challenge Series, and the action never stops. While former champ Mike Eddy plays cat and mouse with the next generation, superstar Bob Seneker overcomes the pitfalls to show what legends are made of. And whether coming or going, one thing's for certain. Canada loves ASA. Up close and personal. Live from Ontario. Players Limited 300 next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, live on TNN Motorsports.
Race Day is brought to you by Pennzoil, America's #1 selling motor oil for performance, protection, and quality.
Welcome back, everybody. The stars of the National Hot Rod Association are reaching for the sky this weekend. That's because they're outside the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado for the Mopar Nationals. And once again, records fell in qualifying.
John Force has posted the most #1 qualifying positions this season, and the two-time funny car champion did it again yesterday with a track record 524 with the 7 at 257 miles per hour. Over in Top Fuel, it's been tough sledding so far this year for Ed McCulloch in the near lane, but he was #1 in qualifying 2 weeks ago and backed that up Friday with a 490 with a 1 at 285 miles per hour, both records. And in Pro Stock, a mere 0.3 of a second covers the 16-car field with Scott Jeffrey on, making the event sponsors happy by putting his Mopar Parts Dodge in the #1 slot with a 758 at 180 miles per hour. He is still seeking his first win despite 3 top qualifying efforts.
And TNN will be on hand to bring you the championship rounds of the Mopar Mile High Nationals live at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Our friends at NHRA Today will be providing the commentary, and you will not want to miss it. Then in the evening edition of Race Day, that comes up right after that at 8:30, be sure to join us. Now, it's not often that someone gets second wind at 5,000 feet. However, that's exactly what Joe Amato has done the past 2 years by winning this event to start a surge towards the championship. NHRA Today's Dave McClellan talked with the 3-time Top Fuel champion yesterday.
Pat here at the Mopar Parts Mile High Nationals at Mile High Vandermeer Speedway just outside Denver, Colorado. There's lots of big stories, but the biggest of them all centers in Top Fuel Eliminator, and it concentrates on Joe Amato, who's got a lot of momentum. Just 2 weeks ago, he won the Summer Nationals race back at Englishtown, New Jersey, and here he is going